At Wings, etc. in Cape Girardeau. We'll be talking Red Hawks football with Coach Tom Matukowicz coming up. Zach Smith, senior wide receiver, is going to join us a little bit later on in the show. And the director of athletics, Brady Barkey, will also stop by. So a jam-packed show. We want to remind you that here at Wings, etc., they have over 70 menu items that are not wings. And right now, what has really become popular is the online ordering. Did you know that you can order online? Just log in at their website, and you can use DoorDash if you would like wings, etc., delivered right to your door. So online ordering, DoorDash as well. And in addition to their award-winning jumbo wings, they have a full menu. In fact, their burger menu is brand new and newly designed. So check out the burgers. They also have wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, smoked ribs, and much more. And their daily half-pound lunch specials start at just $7.99. It's Wings, etc. Good food, great times. Let's welcome in the Red Hawks head football coach, Tom Matukowicz. Coach, how's I'm sure it's not a holiday for you. I mean, technically it's a holiday today. How's your holiday going?
It's good. Great weather. Got out of bed, ready to get after it, so it's a good day.
All right. Looking back at the season opener, what were your initial thoughts? Come zeros on the clock. What were your initial thoughts and your message to the football team after the loss to SIU?
Well, I think SIU has a really good football team. I think at times we made them even look better. And so I think I said it in the papers is we weren't ready to play. And I think I need to clarify that. If you're not an athlete or not a competitor, that may mean you think we didn't want to win or want to play. That's obviously not the case, man. My guys are ready. They wanted to win. They wanted to play the game. But we didn't do what it took up until that point to be good enough to play in that game. We had multiple cramps. SIU didn't cramp. We did. And that's a process thing. How are you hydrating through the week? We had 15 penalties for 135 yards. That means you weren't mentally ready to play that game. I mean, we had multiple missed assignments, missed alignments. We had delay a game penalty. That's on coaches. We had the defense weren't lined up several times. That's on me. And we had a lot of things that we obviously weren't ready to play that game. And so now, the focus just turns to getting better. That shouldn't be hard because I didn't think we played very good. So getting better should not be a problem. But you just got to get people to understand, like winning's a byproduct of a lot of good things, but there are a certain amount of things that you can't win until you do, even if you got the talent. Like penalties, we say it all the time, play hard, play smart, play together. Like we got to get better in those things, and our kids are hurting, and they're embarrassed. I think coaches are embarrassed, so hopefully we put a better product out there for this upcoming weekend.
As far as them jumping on you like they did, boy, that's a you're playing catch-up immediately in this particular football game. A 99-yard touchdown pass after a great punt. You pin them down at the 1-yard line. What did you see on that particular play where they went 99 yards to Avante Cox?
It was a single receiver route. I mean, they just basically a play-action route into cover 3. It should have been a sack, but it wasn't because we didn't coach them well enough and they didn't run the call that was called. And playing defense is hard enough, but you got to make them at least earn it. It was really schematically a good call. It was just a terrible execution, and so we just got to focus on that. And I think we're really young in the secondary, certainly without Lawrence. We played 6 of the 9 DBs that we played was our first time playing on defense. So first college game against a really good team, and it looked like it at times.
And veteran receivers, Lenore and Cox. I mean, these guys have played a lot of Division I football.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure we'll get into it, but that's one thing that, there's a bunch of good out of it, but I loved how we at least finished the game. because there was multiple times where we could have just laid down. Game was over. We turn it over twice. We muff a punt, and we turn it over, and defense forced them to a field goal in both of those situations. So that was really nice to see that we still, got some good character there, and the guys aren't going to just lay down.
What were your thoughts on how I believe this is correct? Other than when Nick Baker took off and ran by himself, I don't think they called a running play until the final play of the first quarter. How surprising was that they didn't even attempt to run the football?
Yeah, very. I mean, last year you were at the game, and they were a run-heavy team, and so a lot of guys back. But I just think that was the confidence that Coach had in his quarterback. I think they thought he was pretty good, and they were going to find out early. And then you had success, so then why would you go away from it?
He's Nick Baker, 5 feet 8 inches tall. That's what he's listed at. Sometimes they exaggerate on football rosters, basketball rosters, so he may not be 5'8", but I thought for a little guy, just showed you don't have to be a big guy to succeed in football, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He was impressive. Your quarterback, what was your assessment of C.J. Agbana getting his first Division I start?
I thought there was some good in there. Obviously didn't turn it over. He had a nice drive, a nice throw to Z. I think that was an 8 or 9 play drive, and did some nice things. Ultimately, though, the whole body of work was really hard to judge because we didn't hold up front. And so they were able to get a lot of penetration and pressure the quarterback so much so that, he was running for his life halftime or got hit. I know he's tough because he got hit a bunch and never flinched. And so that was good to see. It was good to get Christian in the game. And, I think he obviously didn't start well. He turned it over. But then as it kept going, you could tell that he got a little confidence, and it was fun to see him get to throw that touchdown, and that was Garrett Todd's first touchdown of his career, and so those were also some highlights of the game.
And you scored a touchdown on defense. I know that's always in the game plan. See if you can score on defense.
Yeah, we went +2 with a touchdown. We dropped a pick, and so really, if you look at third down, I don't know what it was, maybe 3 of 13, 14, something like that. Our third down defense was really good. And our red zone was good, made them kick some field goals. So really it was the first and second down, the explosive, the chunk plays that we gave up from, not getting lined up and not executing the call.
They were 3 of 11 on third down.
Yeah.
So if you hold teams at 3 for 11, you're going to win some football games.
Right, exactly.
And you were 4 of 15, but I think you were like 1 for 11 at one stretch. So late in the game when Christian Perez came in, you converted some third downs there toward the end of the football game. Any are you sticking with Agbana? I'm sure that's a question you get because you did play both quarterbacks. Is CJ your guy for Sam Houston State?
It'll be same as. I think you probably see them both.
Okay. And Geno Hess, 100-yard rushing game. That's 2 years in a row he's rushed for 100 against SIU.
Yeah, I think he had a great game. I think he improved and when he didn't have the ball, which was a major point of emphasis. And Zion Custis, he picked up a big carry as far as kickoff return. We had 10 kickoff returns. And so he had a lot of those touches and ran really, really hard. But both our backs showed up and played well.
I think at one stretch, Zion had some ice on his knee over on the sideline, but then came back into the football game. So, so he's healthy going forward.
Yep.
So your assessment, when you say you saw Geno Hess get better without the ball, what does that mean?
Meaning his pass protection. He's not there yet, but it got better. His route running, those type of things that we ask those backs to do.
And you got 6 carries from Zion Custis, and Geno carried the ball 18 times. He's really a workhorse, isn't he? I mean, he's had some games where he's carried the ball more than 20 times.
Yeah, he's a very durable guy, and he's got good conditioning. For a bigger back, he doesn't get tired.
I know you went into the game and you were questioning whether or not your right tackle was going to be able to go because Might have been a little under the weather. How did everything shake out on the offensive
Yeah, he had
line?
to miss it. He basically in pregame meal got sick, and I don't know if it was food poisoning or what it was, but had to set out, and that certainly kind of threw us for a little loop. But those things happen.
All right, so who took the most reps at right tackle then in the game? Okay, so you moved Terry Cook. So he went from left tackle to right tackle.
Yeah.
And who played left tackle?
It was still Phil Wilder.
Yeah. Okay, well, how did the offensive line grade out? Because I know you grade everything.
I think in the run game it was solid, and in the pass game it was very poor. So I think it was one of those things that, they got frazzled. They got through there a couple times, and then the wheels just kind of fell off. They weren't disciplined with their eyes and things like that. And so, but it wasn't like we got overwhelmed physically. It was things that, and just like our whole football team, the message is a lot of this is fixable. So as bad as it feels and those type of things, you could still fix it. And our O-line problems, they're pretty good. I mean, they're good, but it wasn't like we just got overwhelmed physically. It was technique, it was our eyes, and we just didn't play well.
Well, you're going to be facing an All-American lineman for Sam Houston State. I think he's the Defensive Player of the Year in the WAC. This is you're really going to be facing an elite defender on their defensive line.
Yeah, they have 4 All-American D linemen.
How about that?
Yeah, 4.
And their quarterback, who made the play at the end of the game in the national championship game, I think he threw a touchdown with 16 seconds left to win it. Had 3 touchdowns against their opposition on Saturday. So they're coming off a pretty good performance.
Yeah, no doubt. And big road win, and they were able to keep all their roster back from a national championship team, so they're feeling pretty good.
I heard their coach talk about it's unheard of to have literally everybody back from their national championship team, and that's exactly what they've got.
Yeah.
How rare is that?
No, it's really rare, and they're going to have a really good season, and it's a great opportunity for us to go play them. It's going to be a great environment. We're staying in College Station. We're going to get to walk through Texas A&M Stadium. Our players will appreciate just getting to see that stadium live, and then go play them. I know they renovated their stadium and all their football facilities and all that, and it's going to be a great environment, I believe. And so it'll be fun for our players to play in.
It'll be a 6:00 game coming up on Saturday. Did you get out of the game fairly healthy?
Brandon Mincy and Shabari Davis, left the game and didn't come back, so we don't know with that. So we're kind of in between.
It was right at the end of the first quarter we saw Shabari leave and then didn't come back. And that's a big loss because he's the guy, the most veteran guy you've got in the defensive secondary in a game where they were really throwing the football. So that had to hurt.
And our punt returner too, who's electric. I mean, obviously he's a great player, and we're better with him out there.
All right. What was your assessment of the why did they have so much success throwing the football? I mean, dummy it down for us. Why were they so successful through the air on Thursday?
I mean, it's a combination of a lot of things. We had missed assignments, missed alignments. We weren't able to pressure him, but we weren't able to play well enough for get him to hold the ball long enough to get back there. And so it was just a combination of a lot of things. And
it seemed like he was – I mean, I know he had only started 3 games. He looked like a veteran back there. I mean, he's a good football player.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they played in those playoffs, and they've had a lot of practice, and, they're good.
All right. As you get ready to head to Sam Houston State, what jumps off the page at you when you watch them on film?
Well, it's really their players. They've done a great job recruiting. They've got, really no weaknesses. They got great backs, quarterbacks, receivers, tight ends, O-line. Defensively, they're great up front, really good in the secondary. So, I mean, you just look at all the All-Americans and all the accolades. They're a veteran, talented team.
I think they have 16 players on the All-WAC team. That's a lot of all-conference.
Yeah.
A lot of all-conference guys. And they were pretty balanced against Northern Arizona the other day. I think 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns from their offense.
Yeah, they seem to be a little pass-heavy. If you look at them, I think they throw it more than they run it. I think what makes it hard is they make you defend the whole field. So there are RPOs, and if you're not covered out there, they'll throw it out there versus running it. And so it creates a lot of space for their great players. You look at Northern Arizona, a lot of big plays because those, you miss one tackle and it could go.
So your assessment of the way that you were able to slow their running game down. They really didn't run the ball on you as much as maybe we thought that they were going to carry the ball. How do you assess your run defense from this particular game?
I was happy with it. I thought our run fits were good. I think we're going to be not sure what that'll mean with Mincy out if he can't make it. And so if he's out, that's certainly would be a huge hole for us, but feel good there. I think our D-line stops the run well, and we got a good plan.
We saw Bryce Norman at the end of the football game. I know he was in on a couple of tackles. Obviously, the local kid. A lot of people have interest in Bryce Norman. How much of an accomplishment is it to just make the 2 deep as a true freshman?
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot about you. He started on several special teams also, so it wasn't just on defense, and got in the game and didn't freak out. Obviously could have played better like we all. I could have coached better, but super happy for him and glad he's a Red Hawk. He's got a bright future, and he'll just have to continue to put on the size and the bulk and everything, where right now he's only playing probably 15 to 20 plays. If that ever got to 40 to 50, that's when the strength and conditioning and just the size that playing with young players, it starts to show up.
I was talking with Coach Brent Eckley, the Jackson coach, called their game on Friday, and so he had an opportunity to watch the game, and obviously he was focused in on Bryce. His thoughts were the game didn't look too fast for Bryce Norman on Thursday. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah. No, he's a high processor, very instinctful. That's what makes him good. Very instinctful player. So, yeah, no, I agree with that.
So you weren't able to normally do the same kind of recruiting because of COVID last year. Is he a little better than maybe you thought because you didn't get as many looks at him as maybe you would have normally?
Yeah, exactly. Normally I have him in camp, and then I go see him play live, and I missed both those. We had a good feeling that we were going to recruit him for lots of reasons, right? But you just never know when you don't ever get to see a guy. But really it came down to Coach Eckley. He called me on the phone and said, Coach, you need, and I trust him, and glad I listened, and I'm glad that he wanted to be a Red Hawk too.
All right, so if Brandon Mincy is unavailable for Sam Houston State, how's that linebacking core going to look Saturday?
We'll have to have this week to figure it out. Whoever practices the best will play.
And Bryce Norman could fall into that category then, right?
Yeah.
All right. What was your assessment overall of the linebacking core in the game? And then obviously Mike Matthews making the play, the interception, the pick six.
Same thing. Productive. Mike had a pick six. O'Mardrick had a sack and played pretty good. I thought, we got to continue to tackle well. The second level, what I call the linebackers, the second level, missed 4 tackles in the game, and as a unit, that's something we're really going to focus on this week, of making sure we're fundamentally sound tackling.
I guess COVID kind of took away O'Mardrick Douglas's opportunity to wear the 0 jersey. I guess there has never been a SEMO player wear 0, and he was scheduled to wear 0, but I guess the jersey never arrived.
Yeah, I don't know. It's on some boat in the Atlantic Ocean probably.
All right. How did he grade out? That's an all-conference guy and a guy
played
that I know
like
you
it
leave.
and led well, and is off to a great start.
All right. So I know one of the first things you talked about after the football game was 15 penalties. Too many penalties. What did you see, and what are the things that you believe that can be cleaned up?
I mean, it's that same thing that I just got done telling the team. Like, it'll get cleaned up when we want it to get cleaned up. The first step in progress is owning it. If it's the official's fault, then it's going to keep happening. If it's the opponent's fault, then it's going to keep happening. When we finally own our stupidity and are willing to do the things it takes to practice at a way where we don't make those mistakes, it's going to keep happening. And obviously we got a problem. Like, you don't have 15. Like, we're not going to be able to go to 2 this week. But, damn, we better go to 10 or 8, at least show some progress, because there's no way to beat good teams and get penalties. If you're better than somebody, you got a little bit of margin. But, certainly we get 15 penalties this week, we're going to get blown out.
So you could probably make an argument here, and I know you always say you don't make your schedule, but I'm not sure there's another FCS team in the country that probably has a tougher schedule to start the year. You play the number 7 team, you get the number 1 team on the road, and then you got a money game against a team from the best conference in America, the SEC. That's pretty tough stretch.
Yeah, pretty tough. I mean, like I said, I got to focus on things I can control. If I could control the schedule, obviously I wouldn't play those teams. But, they get given to me. I got to get my team prepared to play them.
All right, we're going to be talking with Zach Smith here in a couple of minutes. Tell us about your first involvement when Zach Smith, when he popped onto your radar, and what kind of an impact he's made in this program.
Man, it seems like we tell his story for a long time, because he's been a good player for a long time for us. And, of course, he's from Kentucky, played at an outstanding high school and won a state championship. We went and saw him play live, and just kind of fell in love with him. The recruiting kind of came down to Murray and us. Murray throws the ball a lot more than us, but I think what he fell in love with is what most people fall in love with. It's the people in the area. Cape Girardeau is just a special place, got special people, and so I think at the end of the day, that's why he chose to come play. And it hasn't all been rainbows and unicorns either, though. I mean, he's had good seasons and bad seasons. He's been injured. He's been having to deal with a lot of things, just like we all do in life. And so it's a great testament to him and his character and his family, and a great teachable moment for all my young players, because they come in and expect it's just all going to be awesome, right? This guy was a great player, but it didn't start that way. And so, he's a story that we tell even our younger players.
And now 22 years old. He'll be 23 in May. How about that?
Yeah, it's crazy. They might get a margarita today.
So he's already got his degree. You've got several guys that are working on their master's degrees that still have eligibility.
Yeah, he's crushing it. Him and Omardrick had 9 hours of graduate studies this summer to be able to graduate on time in December with their masters, and working just as hard there as they are on the field. And he's kind of an entrepreneur. I think maybe real estate. He's got a lot of things that he's kind of interested in doing, but we both know he's going to be successful, right? The things that make you a good player, as far as the work ethic and all those things, are going to make you a great entrepreneur or a real estate agent or whatever he chooses to do.
Well, we're going to talk with Zach Smith, the college grad, when we come back. Quick timeout, and we'll talk with Zach Smith on the other side of the break. The Red Hawks Coaches Show from Wings Etc. on SEMO ESPN. Programming note, we will be in the Jackson location next week, so back in Titletown. Hope you can join us next Monday after the Red Hawks make the trip down to Texas to Sam Houston to play the reigning national champs. And we want to remind you that the daily half-pound lunch specials here at Wings start at just $7.99, and their appetizer lineup includes their ultimate nachos. If you've never tried those, man, put that on your list. And their deep-fried pickled chips, their freshly made burgers, a brand-new burger lineup, and wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, smoked ribs, and much more. And with DoorDash, you can have wings, etc., delivered right to your front door. Just log on and download the DoorDash app. You can also order online for pickup and then the DoorDash delivery as well. You can do that on the website for wings, etc. Let's welcome in Red Hawks 23-year-old receiver. I had your age wrong, man. I only had you at 22. You're 23 years old now.
Man, that just goes to show I've just been here too long
well,
because of COVID.
Tell us a little bit about what it was like to get your college degree, and now you're working on your master's.
Obviously unexpected. Never thought COVID was going to happen, I'm sure, just like everybody else in here. But it's a blessing in disguise, man. I'm getting a free education, undergrad, and I'm getting a free master's degree too. So I can't complain much about it.
Okay, now let's double-check this. I want to make sure I've got this correct as far as your master's goes. You are working on your master's. Hold on. Okay. Higher Education Administration. What does that mean?
Yes, sir. So basically just helping within the school system, whether that be, a principal, coaching, a teacher, but also I really just want to just help young people. So whatever that looks like in my life in the next 5 to 10 years, I just want to be there for people that are going through my shoes that I'm going through now.
And Coach says you're dabbling a little bit in real estate.
Yes. My mom, she's been at it for about, I want to say 15 years now in Louisville. So I've had really no choice but to just ask questions and, understand what she's trying to do and to help our family. And that's been her thing, and it's kind of drawn me towards it as well. All
right. So you pronounce it Louisville. I've been pronouncing it that way for a long time. How many times do you hear it mispronounced your hometown?
I couldn't tell you, man. I just know, like I've said before, too, if you say it wrong, you're most likely not from there. So
that's the truth. Male High School, man, it's like a football factory at Male High School, right?
Yes, sir, and, that took time. There's two powerhouses in Louisville, Trinity and St. Xavier High School, and those guys usually run, 6A and win state championships every year. But Coach Wolf, he's done a great job since being hired on in 2010 to basically make Male be the team to beat in the state of Kentucky now. So look forward to seeing those guys, go out every Friday and perform.
What class is Male?
6A.
6A. Is that the highest classification?
Yes, sir. So classification in Kentucky, I'm sure it varies in every state, is based on enrollment. So however many students attend your school, that's basically what division you're in or class you're in.
So you got to be well over 1,000 then.
We're over 2,000.
Over 2,000.
Yes, sir.
All right. And how are they doing this year?
They're good. They're 3-0, going into a bye week. Number 1 in the state. Looks like they're probably gonna win state this year. So that's always good being an alumni.
What was it like when you won your state championship at Male?
It was almost like we knew it was gonna happen. Like before the season started, we always preached about just winning, and every night that's what we did. Went out, took one game at a time, and it all ended up coming to life at the end.
How many of your teammates that you played with went on to play college football at any level?
17.
17?
Yes, sir.
How many D1 guys?
I want to say there was 2 or 3.
All right.
So me, Zach Hall, and a receiver named Keon Wakefield. We all went D1.
And where did he go?
Devin Gentry, my bad. He went to Louisville out of high school, and Devin Gentry went to Georgia State.
Were you upset that maybe you were recruited by Louisville?
No, they didn't start doing that really until they got Satterfield in there to really hone in on Louisville high schools and basically keep the guys in the city so they don't have to go out and play football anywhere else. They can just do it at home. But it is what it is, man. They missed out.
Yes, they did, and that's SEMO's gain now. we don't like this. You've got a walking boot on. What's going on with this boot?
Yes, sir. So this happened, honestly, really early in the SIU game, first quarter, before we even tied the game up. So before CJ hit me.
So it was before your touchdown?
Yes, sir. It happened before that, and I didn't think nothing much of it because the adrenaline was pumping. You know, I was just going with the game, but as the game started going on, I could tell something was wrong in the foot. X-rays were negative, so that's a positive.
That's a good thing.
I have an MRI tomorrow, so that'll obviously be the telltale then to see how we do moving forward.
All right. Well, we'll throw up some prayers for you here.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure.
Yes, sir. That would be much appreciated.
Everything is good with that foot. Tell us about the touchdown, because at the time it tied the football game.
Yeah. I mean, we were moving the ball pretty good for the first 2-3 drives. And then we just hit a block, and we just got to work through that in practice and work together as a team. But the touchdown, it was good timing. I honestly didn't think the ball was going to come to me because I knew my foot was messed up. Because we just got done watching film about an hour ago, and on that play I looked slow. And I didn't know why he threw it to me, but he did. And obviously, you know, Coach Took talks about the value of a yard all the time, and I always finish forward, no matter it be +1, +2, +3. I always finish forward with the ball. So that's what got us 6 points.
All right. So as far as touchdowns go, that's your 12th career receiving touchdown. You were the leading receiver for the Red Hawks last year. Is that your goal again, to be the number one guy?
Yes, sir. You know, we have lots of talent around me, which I'm aware of, but me being that number one guy, I feel like I can help elevate everybody else's game as well. Just being the oldest guy in the room and, you know, having the most knowledge and being able to help these young guys understand, you know, coverages and what a defense is trying to do and how alignment, just where to line up on a football field is something that I'm here for. And, you know, if this foot is bad, then I'm in good spirits mentally, like I was telling Miss Lena and Barkey's wife. And I'm just going to be here for these younger guys because they have a lot of football to play left still.
Who do we need to keep an eye on? Who's a young player who you believe Red Hawk fans better keep an eye on because they're going to be an impactful player?
I'd say here in the next couple years, specifically in the receiver room, I'd look out for number 13, Wesley Roberts. He's from Florida. He's really athletic, and he's only been playing football for 2 years.
How about that?
Man, you go to a practice, some of the stuff this guy does, you're like, there's no way he's been playing for 2 years. But that just shows the upside that he has, and I'll definitely be looking out for number 13.
Well, Palatka, Florida. I don't think I used to live in Florida. I lived in Key West. I was stationed in the Navy there. I've never heard of Palatka, Florida. Have you?
I don't even know where that is.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure it's down there somewhere, but
I don't know if it's near Miami or maybe Orlando, Tampa area. So Wesley Roberts, and boy, he's got some size too. Zach, 6'3", 185.
Yes, sir. So in high school, he was a hell of a basketball athlete. Like, this man was like that on the court, but he decided to take it to the field. And obviously some of the, you know, his upside is showing now, but I think more within the next 2 to 3 years, you all will really be seeing that as Red Hawk fans.
He was an all-county basketball player, averaged 16 points and 9 rebounds. That's a lot of rebounds.
Yeah, he can jump.
So do you guys get some pickup games going? Who are the ballers on the football team?
So we've only done that once, and the one time we did that, Wesley had to go home. It was for a break or something. So that was the only time his flight was there. I like to say myself. You know, I'm always going to say myself. But Aaron's pretty good as well.
Aaron Alston?
Yes, sir.
And there's a guy, boy, that's a pretty good combination, you and Aaron Alston. I know he battled injury a little bit last year, but is healthy and ready to go this year.
Yes, he is good, and he also, you know, worked on his hands a lot this past offseason. He had some drops last year in the spring that he knew he wasn't supposed to drop, and I know he's going to catch those balls this fall. So
as a receiver, what do you do when you do drop a ball? I mean, how do you get better? Is it just reps? Is it strictly reps? How do you take care of the dropsies?
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. I like to get on the jugs machine, which is basically a machine that shoots the ball at a certain mile per hour at you, and it really just builds your hands, like makes your hands stronger. Anything with tennis balls, hand-eye coordination will help, and you know, just honestly, the reason people drop the ball is because they don't look it all the way in. So you're like, oh, I've done this 1,000 times before. I know I'm going to catch it, but as soon as you do this, the ball will drop because you didn't look it all the way in and tuck it. But that's kind of it.
Same thing with fielding punts, and I know you guys use the jugs for that as well.
Yep, and speaking of punts, I did muff one against SIU. So, that's a mistake that I feel like I've had every year here, which it's just a technique issue. Like, I know I'm good enough. Coach Tuke and Coach Martin tell me all the time, that they know I'm good enough to go back there and make a play, and it's just my technique there. So.
And what are you thinking about when the ball? I mean, because a lot of times there's a lot of hang time. You don't know where defenders are. How deep in the process do you determine I'm going to call for a fair catch here because I can feel somebody breathing down, and when is it time for you to say, well, forget it. I know the guy's breathing down on me, but I'm still going to field this ball. I'm not going to call for a fair catch.
Depending on, obviously, the distance the ball is kicked from where it left the punter's foot was going to determine if the fair catch is coming or not. But if that ball is in the air, 4.5, 5 seconds, I'm probably going to fair catch every time. There's no telling. You're, like you said, you're looking up, so you don't know what's going on down here. You assume.
Is anyone talking to you at all?
Sometimes, from the sideline, the coaches will let me know if I'm good or not to receive it and make a play or just throw the fair catch up. But it's kind of hard to, listen to their judgment, and you're on the field. It's kind of different from their perspective and your perspective. So.
How much were you able – you haven't really worked with C.J. Agbana very long because he hadn't been here very long, just in July. So how do you make up for lost time there and really getting a chemistry with your quarterback?
Fall camp was big, and, that was kind of what obviously led him over the other guys was fall camp and his consistency day in and day out. But, we just got to keep going to work every day, and every week there's an opportunity to get better, and we just have to take that and run with it, and we have to get better.
All right. How about this opening stretch, man? You guys are playing some really good opponents. SIU, obviously, they're a top 10 program, and now it's Sam Houston. I bet you probably think of it as a great opportunity to go really make a name for SEMO. You go on the road and beat the national champions. That's going to be national news.
Yeah, no doubt. Our goal is to win conference every single year here, and without us playing these games, I don't know if we would be ready for the conference play. So for us to go, against SIU and go to Sam Houston and then go to Mizzou, that's good experience, and it's only going to help us later on in the season when we need it, when it matters, so we can get that playoff berth and then go from there.
It's going to be weird playing Murray State twice in one season, won't it?
I don't like them as it is, so playing them twice makes me even not like them even more. So
how close did you come to going to Murray?
It was between here and Murray, man. I'm not going to lie. I had a scholarship offer from SIU as well, but every time I decided to set up an official visit, it always snowed up there. So they got checked off the list just based on the snow. So it was here in Murray, and just like I said, Coach Tuke and the coaches there, they just – I don't know what it was. It felt real from the beginning. Like they weren't sugarcoating anything. They were telling me how it was throughout the recruiting process, and I just felt wanted here. So that's what ultimately made my decision to come here and be a Red Hawk.
How about Zach Hall coming here? Did that help your decision to come here?
Yeah, he actually was the one that got me to, I guess, kind of shift more towards SEMO than Murray. And no telling what our relationship would look like now if I would have went to Murray and he would have came here, but – I mean, I'm grateful for it. I couldn't have done it. Obviously, we played a lot of football together, whether that be little league, middle school, high school, to now. So,
what's he up to? What you still communicate with Zach?
We talk to him. I talk to him every day. Right now, he's actually playing professional rugby out in Denver.
Rugby.
He signed a professional rugby contract for about 4 months to kind of test the waters, get an actual job under his belt. And I believe here up in the upcoming spring, he'll be playing again in the spring league or the USFL or something like that. One of his coaches is bringing him back on the team to make sure. So, and with that rugby thing, it's have
you ever played rugby?
I'm never going to play rugby. I don't want to play rugby. Can I imagine what we do without pads on? No, sir. I get hurt with pads on, so I can't imagine what it would be without pads.
All right. So what are the keys for you this Saturday to go on the road and knock off Sam Houston?
We have to be better than we were last week. And if we aren't that, then it's probably going to be worse than it was last week. And we just have to hone in on our job. Literally, like on film, there was one or two guys that didn't do their job and that messed up the whole play. And if we get those one or two guys, you know, to do their job every single play, then everything will open how we want it to.
All right, 6 o'clock kickoff at Sam Houston on Saturday. Zach, always good to catch up with you, and good luck with the foot. We hope everything turns out all right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that's Zach Smith. We will take a timeout. The athletics director, Brady Barkey, is going to join us when we come back. It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show from Wings Etc. in Cape on SEMO ESPN. Note, we'll be in Jackson next week. Hope you'll join us there over in Titletown. And if you've never been to the Jackson Wings, you just walk in the front door and take a right. Go back to the banquet area, and that's where we'll have the show next week. The athletics director at Southeast Missouri State is here, Brady Barkey. Now, you were doing some yard work this morning. Is that what I heard?
Yeah. This is one of those days you get to try and get some stuff done around the house, and took a quick break to come up for the show.
All right. We appreciate you coming, and the entire Barkey clan is here, the entire family.
Yeah, it's the only productive thing that those kids have done today is eat. So that's all right, though.
All right, boy. This it was quite a shock when we found out that the South Grandstands were not going to be an option for Red Hawk football this year. But anybody that has talked to you or listened to you for the past couple of years, you were warning everybody that this day was coming, right?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it. It's 91 years old, I guess, this year. And, it's been in a state of increased deterioration over the last few years. And we've known that we needed to have a plan to address it. And we did some conceptual design work a couple of years ago and kind of in anticipation of it. Then COVID hit, and that kind of paused everything in terms of a campaign. But we knew that the structure was still continuing to deteriorate, and so it's certainly not a shock at all, to me or probably to anybody who's been close to it, that it's it's in as bad a shape as it is. It's the timing of it, I think, is what caught people by surprise a little bit. But, now we're going to have to figure out how to move forward and have a plan to be able to make it better than it's ever been.
Now, explain the timing, because this firm that you hired, and you've hired multiple firms, you've had two separate assessments, because I know you wanted a second opinion. This firm was not going to deliver you the news until after the football game, and you needed to find out before thousands of people were walking on the South Grandstands. Explain the timing of the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think we've had some people that have expressed frustration or questioned the decision making, that it was the timing was the way that it was. And so we first did an assessment kind of late 2018, early 2019, and at that point we knew that it was in poor condition and kind of beyond its useful life, but still able to be occupied. We just needed to continue to monitor it. And so following this spring 2021 season, we went ahead and had a follow-up assessment done to look at the kind of current condition of it. And that report came back in early August and, said that deterioration had accelerated and, that there were some structural concerns with, the south part of the stadium and some question over, the safety of it. And so, we decided to engage a second opinion and be able to have an assessment done on the south side with another company. Just, I think we owe that to our football program. We owe it to our fans to try to keep that side, operational as long as we can. And so we had a group that came in, didn't have an opportunity yet to provide us the report, but they knew that we were getting ready to have a home game, and they felt that the condition of it was such that they needed to give us a call and say, this is going to be our opinion, and we know that you have a game coming up, and we would advise you against occupying that side. And so, of course, that validated, I think, some of what the first report had indicated. But at that point, the safety of our fans and everyone that's going to come and support us is of the utmost importance. And so when we find that out on Wednesday morning and we've got a game Thursday night, we don't have any choice. And so people being upset about the timing, I think, is one thing, and that's fair. But I think if you understand the sequencing of what happened, you start to get it. But a tremendous job by really so many people at the university to be able to do an entire stadium conversion in 24 hours time. I mean, we had every single thing was still wired and ready to be operational in the south side of the stadium. And we're able to flip that, run everything to the north side, operate out of a press box on the north side and out of the field house, believe it or not, with a couple of offices that have field views. And be able to bring in some temporary bleachers and do some different things just to be able to make it work. And a total team effort from IT, FM. I mean, shoot, we even had the football coaches there at one point Wednesday night helping us number the seats on the north side of the grandstand, because that's always been general admission. We've never even had row letters and numbers on it. And so everybody just coming together to pull it off, was a really cool thing.
So what do we see going forward here, and will the stadium renovations take place soon, and will they be ready for next season?
Yeah, so 100% we're going to build it. We're going to build this thing, and we're going to get it right, and it's going to be a huge asset to this university and this community, and I think is going to cement the future of athletics. The timing of it is still what we're trying to figure out, and so we had gone through in 2019, and we had known that we probably were going to need to phase it. We knew the South was the biggest priority, and so we knew we were going to have to do that first, and then be able to work around to the north. But then also kind of looked at the field house is old, and it's going to need to be replaced at some point. And so we tried to work that into, again, this conceptual design of kind of a long-range plan. And I think where we are now is the first phase in figuring out the south part of the stadium. It's normally a 2-year construction project. From the time that you get your design documents, you bid it, and you get construction done, it's normally a 2-year process. And so what we're trying to figure out is there an opportunity for us to at least build back some of it prior to the start of the fall 22 season. And that gives us an opportunity to have something in place that would be the permanent structure, but something that you could then add on to as we work through the campaign. And so I think very soon we'll know whether or not that's going to happen, because we'll have to begin demolition probably still during the season in order to be able to start by the 1st of January and give a contractor 8 months to be able to build that structure prior to the start of the 22 season. And so that's our goal, and that's what we're going to try to accomplish until somebody tells me it can't be done. But I'm really optimistic about it, and I think soon we'll be able to know if we're going to be able to make that happen. And actually just had a call Friday with the architectural firm that we've used to kind of talk about that in a little bit more detail and make sure we understand the timeline and kind of when our deadline is to be able to press go. And so still really encouraged by that opportunity for us, and I think it's important to be able to show progress.
So for those who have not seen the renderings of the stadium, express to us just exactly what this is going to look like.
Yeah, so in a sense, it's a similar layout or format to what the current stadium structure is, in terms of having a concrete seating structure that is kind of a bowl-shaped type structure similar to what we've got. With, of course, adequate restrooms, which we don't have, and concessions underneath the stadium. But I think really trying to begin to create a priority for premium seating opportunities and experience opportunities for fans. We know that the days are gone of people going and wanting to sit in, row F, seat 2. They want to have a social experience. And so we've seen that in Touchdown Plaza and, with the end zone. How can we create some of that over in traditional seating areas? And so looking at club levels and looking at loge boxes and looking at, other spaces where people can have a social experience while they're cheering on the team. And so
rather than just having, like at Jacksonville State where they've got all the suite rooms, rather than that, you're talking about just a big room.
Yeah, I think for starters, and we've seen that a little bit, of course, Austin P has it, Tennessee Martin has it. There's some others in our league that operate that way. But I think what we've found is that people don't like to be confined to just, a dozen people that they interact with. They like to be able to interact, again, with more people. And so you get to create that experience, for people. It is a little bit of a see and be seen thing, and I think that's people are okay with with paying a little bit more when they get to have that prestige, and so it's certainly a heck of a lot better view of the field than what the end zone is, a place to actually be able to watch the game from, and so we're going to try to incorporate some of those things into it.
Did you go to Ole Miss for when the baseball team went to the NCAA? So that big room that they've got there, something similar, is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yep, yeah, exactly. It would have seating outside, but then also a full front view of the stadium too, and then some social spaces. You'd be amazed probably the number of people that actually are in the end zone that never see the game. And they're perfectly fine with it, right?
I've talked to them, yes.
And so you want to be able to have that, that type of an experience too, and some great views of, downtown out the backside, and being able to overlook downtown to the river and all of that. And so there's some really, really cool elements just on the south side, and that's not even getting to the north side, which gives us an opportunity to, capitalize on the quarry aspect, right? How many stadiums do we know that are actually built out of a rock quarry, right? And so how do you bring that to life and be able to make this a unique facility that when people see it, they know exactly where it is and they know that it's one of a kind. And so, we're going to try to utilize some of those things on the north side and really capitalize on that setting to make it something that's unique and continue to carry on the history and tradition that Houck has, and so I'm excited for it. It's going to take a lot of work. We're certainly going to need a ton of people to come alongside us and see something that that maybe they haven't thought about before in terms of supporting. But it's more than just about a football program. It's about this community, and it's about this university. I mean, it truly is the front door to the university as you come up Broadway. It anchors downtown Cape as the start of downtown Cape, and it just means so much to this community. I think that the history of football and athletics here at the university, and what it means for retail and hotels and all of those things. I think if people understand that we're not just talking about a venue that we can have some football and soccer players be able to compete in, we're talking about something so much more. And if people can see that and understand it, then I think we can be successful in building something that people look back at and say, wow, that was a really good decision.
Will you put new turf down with it? Because I know 2011 was when this current turf, some people may not know, SEMO was the first FCS school in the country that got field turf back in 2000. They didn't know how long it would last. It was a guess, the company. And, it lasted more than a decade, and this one's going on a decade. So if you're doing the construction, are you going to re-turf the field as well?
Yeah, our plan is to redo it after this season. It would probably be actually after spring ball, and do it during the summer so that it would be ready for next fall.
All right. So if you had to guess, do you think there will be groundbreaking by January?
That's I'll be disappointed if we're not there. But that's the easy part. The easy part is getting us started and creating the momentum. The tougher part is getting people to come alongside us because, what we're talking about getting started is maybe $10 million or so of what is overall probably a $55 to $60 million project. And so it's going to take everybody. And we're probably going to make some people uncomfortable because we've never done a campaign like this, and we've never asked for support at the level that we're going to need it in order to be successful. But at the end of the day, if it's important enough to people, they need to support it, and I'll be right along there with them. And I think that's what we have to try to set out and accomplish.
And for those who don't know, I mean, you have been everywhere in this conference, and not just this conference, but you've talked to people at Austin Peay. How did they do it? How did UT Martin do it? You've talked to all these people. You've got every stone uncovered. This is not something that has not been well thought out ahead of time.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of ideas on how we can maybe chip away at this thing and be able to look at partnership opportunities with businesses in the community, or maybe there's an opportunity for storm shelters or something like that can be incorporated into the structure to maybe be able to capitalize on some state or federal money. And there's a lot of different ways that you can go about it. Unfortunately, there's not one size that is just going to be able to go out and get you everything you need. And so we're going to piece it together that way, and we're going to have faith and trust that the community understands the importance of it and is going to get behind it too. And I'm looking forward to us really being able to get started. And as bad as this decision was in the short term of having to, close down the south side, I think it's a great opportunity now that we have maybe a different sense of urgency than what we had a week ago. And so now's the time for people to come alongside us and see what we can be.
Which side's the press box going to be on?
Press box will still be on the south side.
South side.
Yep.
Now, where the students enter on the north side, you're going to do something up there?
Yep. So that's what we want to create a destination for students too, and I think that's where we've got an opportunity with the Quarry to be able to create something unique that is an identifier to where students are going to congregate and that type of thing, and so. Really excited as we start to kind of refine what we're looking at to be able to really start sharing that with people and I think get people excited because there's some really, really cool things there.
Brady, thank you so much for expanding on just exactly what went into the decision and a glimpse of what is to come. And I'm sure it's going to be exciting, going to be fun to watch the phases get checked off and see the new facility.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. I appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity to share, and hopefully we'll have some more info for you all here in the next week or two.
All right. That is the athletics director, Brady Barkey. Thanks to Zach Smith for joining us a little bit earlier, and, of course, Coach Tuke. The Red Hawks will play Sam Houston Saturday, 6 o'clock, and, of course, you can hear the game on Real Rock 99.3 FM. We've got the Max Kellerman Show coming up for you next for a final time here from Wings. So long, everybody.